So one of the things we're finding out is an automobile company out of China, BYD, is bringing their vehicles in, but from our neighboring countries like Canada and Mexico.
Mm.
So now I'll let the video kind of explain, but basically, there's an opportunity for you to be able to bring BYD from Mexico or Canada to the U.S.
Mm.
So here we go.
Ah,
What if an American wants to cross the border to Mexico and buy a brand new BYD? Do they have to pay any specific tariffs to bring that vehicle or register it into the U.S.?
You want to buy, you want to lease, walk across the border here, less than a mile away, you'll find a BYD dealership. You can get a brand new BYD Shark pickup truck. That's a PHEV. The Shark looks a lot like a Ranger or a Tacoma, not by accident. Very high quality vehicle. Its price point is around $45,000. You can buy it there, bring it back across the border. No one's going to mess with you.
You're going to start seeing a lot more of that, aren't you? I mean,
Like I say, you don't know. At a certain point, where the money is, follow the money. People say, I can get a much more affordable vehicle out of Mexico and bring it across. Why not?
That's the big one. If from a price point perspective, and I know we've definitely talked about this in the past, is at the end of the day, if the Chinese vehicles do get in the U.S. market, there's going to be a quote unquote bloodbath.
if you're not a bot, prove it. Like, subscribe, and share.
With the U.S. OEMs, because the price point that they're able to make these high quality vehicles and sell them at a lower price, I mean, it's just going to start demolishing some of the U.S. market. So this is a great way for them to bring in the vehicles legally, since they can't get them here directly into the States.
It's a typical market grab, right? It's a typical market grab. It is where most of these organizations, they build their business with the same strategy. They got something to the market at a low price, even free. A lot of these big giants, mammoths right now in technology and in hardware, they got it at a low price, got us where we can't live without it because that's all we can afford, or that's point where we are so used to it and we don't want to change. So it's pretty much similar thing is happening, and I think the Ford CEO came back and he was kind of rang that bell, and he said he was put the alarm on, and he said basically hey, we need to seriously look at these cars. We need to seriously make the change in our manufacturing and how we are proceeding within U.S. So I think it's
Well, I guess you say to your point, I think what you're leaning towards is towards how the vehicle's made, as in what's the technology that's in the vehicle versus how they build the cars in the plants in China versus U.S. You're referring to more alluding to the just for clear for the audience, is that you're referring to the car as in the technology versus how it is in the U.S. currently in the vehicle, correct?
and the price point, right?
And the price point. Well, definitely the price point.
And the price point. And here's the thing. Only way to tackle this, in my opinion, is if the living standard in China of the people there gets to the point where they cannot afford to live at the wages, and then the wages go up, and then they have to build those cars at a certain price.
Well,
that is, I think, the only way to
to
tackle this. I don't know how they go about it, but that's about it.
That's the thing. I hear, I should put this, allegedly, China does do some subsidizing for these vehicles to be,
Yeah, the government subsidizes the manufacturing.
Yeah, allegedly that's what we hear, and allegedly. That's why the cars are so much cheaper.
Yeah.
Or I should say, much lower than the price point in the U.S. or in Canada. That's what helps drive the price down. Plus, with the tariffs, they I guess allegedly they help with that price
and
point.
the shipping too.
Yeah.
So they help. So basically, the Chinese government. I mean, there is no covering it up. Chinese government has full control, and they are basically dictating how it's being shipped, how it's been manufactured, how, every aspect of it. Just to do that, they're able to control the whole market. And when they are doing it, and it's not the manufacturers are pushing it to in Mexico and Canada. It's the government.
But it's
And
not just here too where you're going to have issues.
It's
They're
all over
already
the
seeing
world.
some of these issues in Europe too that are starting to happen where
It's all over the world. It's all
these
over the
vehicles are getting their way in, and
because there's so much
right,
there's so much
Yeah.
at a
because even
price
if you
point.
do, like you were just saying, even if you do have a tariff or whatever, that's 35%, or like this guy just mentioned to it, that 35% doesn't matter because
doesn't matter.
the price of a different vehicle, an Audi or BMW or Mercedes, et cetera, could be, $60,000, whereas this would then make a 30 go to 40.
Yeah, so I think what basically the U.S. Market need to figure out is how to be efficient to the point where they're able to compete with this.
But can we get that efficiency without the government assistance like what they supposedly are getting?
Well, I don't. I think in a money wise, I don't think it's just a money factor. I think it's a regulation factor. So I think basically the markets here, they need a regulation help where they can get assistance as they ask for, and
Well,
basically,
yeah, to your point,
Yeah.
I believe our administration signed an executive order. I think it was an executive order, I believe. So that way these vehicles can be built. I think it's something to do with the size of the vehicle. And they can not have to meet certain emission standards.
Yeah, I
I
was
think
gonna say
those
it's
emission
all about the
standards,
emission standards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's able to for them to be able to make smaller cars with not meeting those emission standards, which honestly not every state follows. Like for example, Michigan
okay.
doesn't follow emission standards.
I know, but my thing is there's so much like dinosaur regulations we have in our industries that monitor EPA and the other safety standards. Some of the like, hey, you have to have this windshield wiper to make it legal. While there's no driver in the car, you don't need a windshield wiper. So revisit all those. Let's figure it out how we can, optimize our companies and let people do what they do. I think the government is in certain places they are the obstacle.
Yeah, yeah,
They are obstacle in innovation. Let's put it straightforward. Yeah.
yeah. Very true.
Where
very true.
potentially in China they're
They're
assisting.
promoting.
Right.
We can argue about how they deal with their people, but on the business side, they're going 200 miles per hour.
Yep.
Yeah, again, if you guys like our topic, please like, subscribe. If you want to comment on other topics, please let us know.